Hello, everybody out there. Looks like we've got a few people joining us already. Welcome in. Today we're going to be using some of our mission control gel paints. So I am just going to get all of my colors out here and ready. Give everybody a little bit of chance to join in on the fun here. So welcome everyone. Let's see, do we have enough? I feel like we got, I don't know, not enough space today. We've got a lot of fun things to play with, and I don't know, my desk is feeling a little small here today, but that's all right. We will make it work. Hey, Top Nail, Elf Fortune, let's see, can you use base gel to attach full cover tip? You can, actually, great question. We get that question quite often, actually. Yeah, definitely you can use that. I prefer to use the fiber gel, just because fiber gel is a little bit more flexible, but you can definitely use the Synergy base gel, absolutely. Hey, Julie, how you doing today? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? You guys, welcome in. Let me know who's here. Tell me that you're here in the chat. I want to see some familiar names and see if we got some new people here. Welcome in. All right, you guys. So as you can see, what I've got in front of me is our Mission Control Gel Paint Kit. And if you haven't seen this before, it is a fantastic kit. It comes with all of these different colors that I've got in front of me. It also comes with our tiny little micro detailer brush to get you started on your nail art. Let me pop that cover off here very carefully. It is a very teeny tiny little striper liner brush, so that comes with the kit as well. Hey everybody, Krista, how you doing? Let's see, Aria, hello, Top Nail. I am back in the salon today, back from California. Had a great trip out there. Filmed a bunch of different videos for you guys. Lots of new things coming in, so we did lots of great videos. So keep on track here in our YouTube channel. Make sure you guys, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so that you get the notifications when we do have all of our new videos out. So Local Lady, you adore the Mission Control gel paints. You're gonna have fun today then. So what I'm going to start with, you guys, I have a very large ceramic tile in front of me. This is not like our other small one. Let me grab our small one here. So I normally have just my little mixing tile, but today, you guys, we're going all out. We are mixing a whole bunch of different colors. I think you guys had a lot of fun last week mixing all the glitters. So today we're going to mix some colors. So what we have in the kit are all of these different colors. They can be used by themselves or they can be used and customized and mixed together. So that's what we're going to do today. But first things first, I want to show you how to open them. Now I know that sounds kind of weird, how to open your jars, but when you get a jar and you open it up, it's all ready to go. But in order to get to this position, there's a couple of things that I want you guys to understand so that you don't make a mess when you get your products, you don't waste your product. So I've opened all of the rest of these, but when they come in the kit here, they come with two seals. They actually come with a plastic seal all the way around. So what you're going to do is you're going to find there's a little perforated edge in there. You're going to find that little perforation, tear that open, and then take off that plastic, okay? That's our first step. Again, you guys, I know it sounds goofy to tell you how to open things up, but I think it's important to know so you don't make a mess. So when you do open up that brand new jar, it's got a heat seal on top of there. So what I like to do is I'll take my painting spatula, or you guys, if you have a little knife or something like that, I like to just come underneath that little edge there and then push down so that you're actually going down into the jar. And then I'm going to slide that edge, so the edge of my painting knife just right around that seal. So that's going to kind of release that seal. When I get to the end of it, I'm just going to peel that back. Okay. Now you can kind of see there is a little bit of gel that it looks like it's hardened. Don't worry, that's very normal. Okay, you guys, that is something that happens when they do that heat seal. It's very normal to have that little bit of gel kind of cure almost. So I just will wipe that off. And I'm going to grab my nippers and I'll just go through and just clip off that little bit of heat sealed gel that's on there. Clean that off. Again, you guys, it's normal. It's not something that is an issue. It's not affecting the product or anything like that. It is totally fine. But then you're going to have a little bit of that that seal's still on there, I would say either use your nippers or your nails if you got nails on. Kind of go through and peel that all away. Get as much of that cleaned off as you can. It's just going to make your life easier in the long run. So we got that all cleaned off. I'm going to take another wipe, and I'm going to use just a little bit of either polish remover or acetone on that wipe, and then I'm going to clean around that top edge. So make sure that you get all of that gel paint off the top, and any little bits of that seal that are still on there, get as much of that off as you can. It's just going to make your life easier in the long run when you close these back up. So clean as possible, and that's going to be, you're ready to go, okay? So I know, you guys, it sounded goofy, but we need to know how to open these and how to maintain them, because when you put your caps back on, if you don't have that top part cleaned off, you're going to get some of that gel paint up in the caps. And you guys, let me grab, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you what happens when you don't clean your jars. So this is one that I've had kind of rolling around in my drawer for a while. So what happens when you don't clean off those jars and maybe you knock them on the side, that gel will get up into the top part there. What happens is it'll start to kind of flow down all of the little, the threads of that jar, and then it's just gonna make a mess. So if you're able to start with a clean jar, you won't have this issue, because after you use it, you're not gonna have all that mess all over, but you're gonna go through and clean around the edges. And I will show you that when we're done using them as well, okay? All right, so we've got all of our colors open here. So let's start mixing. Let's just jump right in. So you guys, what I want to show you today is how to customize these, but I'm going to start with our 3 primary colors. So red, yellow, and blue are our primary colors. You can actually mix so many different colors with just these colors. So we're going to start with that, though. If you think back to when you were in nail school, or even just, you know, elementary school, we talked about the color wheel. Sorry, you guys, my brain stopped for a second. So we talk about the color wheel. So the color wheel is going to always start with your 3 primary colors. It's going to start with red. And you guys, as I'm working in between each color, I use one of our lint-free, actually these table towels that I use, I've just cut them into smaller pieces so that they're easier for me to use. So then we got yellow. Looks like this one kind of settled a little bit, so I'm going to give this one a little bit of a mix up. They do kind of settle if you haven't used them in a while, so don't be afraid to just give them a quick stir and make them, you know, bring them all back together. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of my yellow. Don't want to put that there. Okay, so I've got my yellow, my red, and our third of our primary color is blue. All right, you guys remember the color wheel back in elementary school? Did you guys learn that? Did you study that? Hopefully you did. So hopefully you have a little bit of an idea where I'm going with this. So we've got our 3 primary colors. Okay, so red, yellow, and blue. I'm going to set those off to the side. Now, let me adjust here a little bit. So to start mixing, we can mix any of these 2 colors on this on the primary colors together to make a third color. If we mix all 3 of these colors together, it's going to come to brown. So you want to kind of keep that in mind when you're mixing. So say we take a little bit of our red, and whoops, I guess I got a little blue in there already, so we'll take a little bit of the blue and we're going to mix that together. So this is going to give us a purple. Now, kind of depending on how much of each color you put in, that's going to adjust your color. So I'm getting more of a kind of a red, kind of a violet on this one. So I might decide I want to add just a little bit more blue to this. So I'm going to clean off my spatula. We'll grab a little bit more of that blue and we'll mix that in. Okay, so that's giving us a little bit more of that violet purpley kind of color. And you guys, as I'm mixing, I'm just kind of smearing it over my tile here. I'm not patting or pressing or anything like that because that's going to put in air bubbles. So just kind of smooth it over. We always say pretend like you're buttering toast if you eat toast. If you don't eat toast, I don't know. We're just smearing this all over the palette. Okay, so now we have more of that violet tone. Okay, now What if we mix a little bit of our red with our yellow? You guys, what is red and yellow gonna give us? Let me know. I know you guys know this. It's not a trick question, but let me know. What's our red and yellow gonna give us? That is, and you guys, actually that red is a lot more pigmented, so I probably shouldn't have added quite as much of red. I should have added a little bit more of the yellow. So let's grab a little bit more of the yellow here. All right, we've got our yellow in there. So that red and yellow is going to give us a beautiful orange. And again, I think that red is still a little bit more overpowering. So let's add, actually I'm going to take a little bit of that off. And let's add a little bit more of the yellow. Glory, we are mixing gel paint colors. That's what's going on here today. And then, of course, you guys, I will use some of these beautiful colors in a nail a little bit later on. So you can kind of see how we can use them. But right now, we're just mixing and customizing some beautiful colors that we can use on our nails. But thank you for asking. It's always fun to see what you guys are thinking out there. So, all right, so we have our orange. So again, we started with our red, blue, and yellow. Then we have our violet and our orange. Now if we come in between the yellow and the blue, let's take a little bit of our yellow, and then we'll take a little bit of our blue. What is this? What's this one gonna make, you guys? What's yellow and blue gonna make? Anybody know? Anybody remember? All right, we're gonna get a little bit of a green on this one. And again, if you feel like you need a little more yellow, brighten it up. Actually, I'm gonna grab a little bit more yellow for my palette here. I'm kind of running low on that, so we'll take a little bit more of that yellow and we'll mix that in. Get a little bit of a lighter green. Okay, I think I'm kind of liking that as our green. So you guys, we started with 3 primary colors, so red, yellow, and blue. Then we mixed to get our secondary colors, which is our green, orange, and violet, okay? Now what happens if we mix even farther? Let's take a little bit of our yellow and a little bit of our green. That's gonna give us a yellow green. Now I know you guys, these are like technical words, technical names. I'm not going with like chartreuse or anything. I'm just kind of going with the color wheel names, okay? So nothing fancy here, but again, just showing you how you can really customize those colors for your clients. Okay, so what if we take a little bit of our, let's see, our yellow and our orange? What's that one gonna give us? Yellow orange. All right, so again, a little yellow, a little orange. We're gonna mix those up. So you guys, as you're working on your clients, you can completely customize colors. You can make them exactly what color your client is looking for, just keeping these combinations in mind, okay? So now we've got our yellow orange. What if we want some of our orange and our red? We're gonna make a red orange. And those of you that were saying that I sound like Bob Ross before, you're really gonna get Bob Ross today, because we're mixing those colors, we're making that art we are creating today. Okay, so we've got our red orange. Let's come over to our red and our violet. It's gonna give us red violet. Again, I know it's very technical. These are the technical words, but they really are. So red violet, maybe just a little bit more red in there. Give it a little bit more of that red tone. Okay. All right, let's see. And then if we come back down here, we've got our violet and our blue. Oh, sorry guys, I want to be able to see that. This is going to give us our blue violet. So just again, whatever tones you like, whatever colors you like, you can always mix those and customize. I think so far, I actually think this one is my favorite color, this blue violet here. I think that's really pretty. And then last but not least, we'll take our green and our blue. We're gonna give us a blue-green. Alrighty. So those would be our, and you guys, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I'm actually saying this word right, but these are our tertiary colors, okay? So again, our primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. Secondary colors, violet, green, and orange. Tertiary colors, we have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, and red, violet. So all of those different colors you guys can customize. Now, here's where we get a little bit more crazy. So I'm actually going to set that, we'll set that right back there so you guys can still see it. I'm going to grab one of my wipes and clean off my brush, or not my brush, my palette here, or my mixing spatula, I guess. Melissa Luna, did I say that right? Thank you. I appreciate that. And Lizette, gels do not dry until you put them under a curing lamp. So these I could actually sit out here on my station all day long, and they're not going to cure unless they go in front of my curing light, or if the sunlight hits them or something like that. So keep that in mind with your gels, okay? So let's see, you guys, what happens if, let me grab my black and white. So if we want to take any of these colors and we want to lighten them or darken them, we can always go with our black or our white to change them up a little bit. Now let's talk about the white. Actually, let me give this one a quick little stir up. Again, making sure it kind of separated just a little bit. And then we'll just get that right back in there. Now, you guys, I want you to notice here. Do you see how I got a little bit of that paint on the side? Make sure that before you cap that you go back through and you clean those edges, because if you weren't here for the beginning of our lesson today, if you do get any of that gel down on the side of your jars, that's just going to continue to run down and it's going to kind of make a big mess, okay? So make sure that you do keep those jars clean. It's going to save you a lot in the long run. So let's take, again, a little bit of our white. Let's just pop that right on our tile here. So we got a whole bunch of white to work with. And then if we take any of our other colors from our palette here, let's start, let's go with a little bit of that violet color, okay? If we take a little bit of that violet and we take a little bit of that white, it's going to create more of a pastel color, okay? So a little bit of white is going to lighten it up just a little bit. The more white you add, the lighter that color is going to get. Okay, so just keep adding till you like what color it is. If you're going for a specific color, again, keep adding until you get right to that tone. Okay, so we had started with that color. So that darker purple, and then we created that lighter lavender, lilac-y, very just pastel-y kind of color, okay? So keep that in mind as you're mixing. You can always create those pastels, you can create those light colors, spring kind of colors, absolutely. All right, what about if we want to go darker? Let's take a little bit of that red. Let's just start with just kind of that basic red, and then let's take a little bit of our black. So black is very, very pigmented. So I'm going to just put a tiny little bit on my tray here. A little bit is going to go a long way. So I'm just going to kind of dab into that. And then we're going to mix that into our red. And you're going to see it's going to really start to darken that color up. And again, give it just a little bit of a different tint. Okay. All right, so once again, we started with, oops, let me grab a little bit more. We started with that red. Okay, and then we darkened it up to give us more of kind of a Merlot color almost. Okay. All right, you guys, what's your favorite color so far? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Which one do you like best? Do you like the primary colors, the red, yellow, and blue? Do we like secondary colors, violet, orange, green? Do we like tertiary colors? I'm not going to name all of those. Or do you like the tints with the white and the black? Let me know. Let me know which one's your favorite, because I'm going to get into actually doing some nails here, because of course I know that's what you guys all want to see. So let me know what your colors are, and then we will maybe choose some to use here, okay? So those are some ways of mixing, okay? I just want to take a quick minute to show you guys some of the other colors that we do have that come as part of this kit. So if you like to mix, you can always mix. If you like to just use colors on their own, this one's actually one of my favorites. All right, you guys, I'm going to tell you these two are my favorites. Sonic is the teal, Mega Jam is kind of that bright pink, and I'm going to actually mix these two together because they're going to be beautiful. Let's see, it's purple, deep red tints, the lilac color, the dark red. You guys like all of the different colors. I love it. I love it. Be it French. We're not doing French today. Maybe another day. We'll do French another day. Okay, so this one is our teal color. And you guys, I feel like these two colors just by themselves are beautiful, but I absolutely love mixing these two together. I don't know why, it's just my favorite combination. It gives us kind of that purpley, pinky, greeny, tealy, I don't know, it's just a beautiful, kind of a purpley color, I guess we'll go with. So this one is my favorite combination. I do tend to use this quite a bit. And again, if you want to tint it, you can tint it. Ooh, we like burgundy, primary colors. I love it, you guys. You guys are all over the place. You love all of the different colors. Have you, any of you guys started mixing your, what are we working with? Mission Control? Have you guys worked with the Mission Control? Have you mixed it? Have you tried it? Have you played around with it? I hope you have, because it is super, super fun. Because once you start mixing, you guys, here's the thing. You really can't screw it up, okay? Now, the one thing I will tell you is that, like I had said earlier, if you mix the three primary colors together, you're going to get brown. So kind of keep that in mind when you are mixing. So if I were to take, oh, let me get one more mixing tile out here. Let me clean this up real quick. So this one just has a little bit of gel residue. I'm just going to take a lint-free wipe, a little bit of acetone, polish remover, clean that off really quick. But you guys, I want you to see what happens when you do mix a little bit of each of the three primary colors. So if we mix the yellow and the red and the blue together, where's my blue? There's my blue. Okay, so again, taking all three primary colors. Now keep in mind that if you are mixing any of these custom colors together, any colors that do have the combination of yellow, blue, and red, it's going to give you more of that brown tone, okay? So take a look as I'm mixing here. And again, depending on, you know, what colors you have, how much of each color you have, this one I can tell that red is kind of overpowering a little bit because I had a little bit more of that in there. But again, if you mix all three of these colors together, you are going to get more of a brown tone, okay? This one's a little bit more of a red brown, but it is going to be more of a brown tone. So kind of keep that in mind as you are mixing your colors, okay? All right, you guys, are you ready to see a nail? Let me know. Are you ready? Let me know in the chat. What do you think? Should we do a stiletto today? Should we do a square? Should we do an almond? What's your vote today? What do you guys want to see? Let me know. I'm just gonna close up some of my containers here. And again, you guys, when you are closing your containers, make sure, take a little lint-free wipe. Make sure to clean around those edges so that you don't have any of that gel sliding down the threads here. And then also make sure, oops, let me grab this one. See how there's a little bit of that gel paint in the lid there? Make sure to clean that out as well so that your jars don't get all messy. Okay, I'm seeing lots of almond shapes. Let's see, square, almond, stiletto. All right, you guys, I know what's going to happen is I am going to stick my hand into one of these trays here with all of these colors on it, and I'm going to make a big old mess. So I'm going to move all of that out of my way here. And actually, I'm going to need to move those over here. We're going to grab a practice hand. And I'm at least going to put the caps right on the top of my jars. I'm not going to take the time to screw them all on there tight because you guys want to see some things and I don't want to deprive you of that. So let me just close those up. Grab my practice hand. Alrighty, so we have got our trainer hand. I've got a couple of nails on here and clipped down. All right, we got to make room for our trainer hand here. Okay, so we've got our nail on here, ready to go. I'm gonna always go through and push back our cuticles, just like we would do when we're doing a full set. Always make sure that you're practicing pushing back those cuticles. Get in that routine of it. And then I'm gonna use my sanding band. This is a medium sanding band. Let me come in just a little bit closer for you. Oh, Ruth, can you still hear me? Maybe I was turned away from the camera for just a second there. So hopefully you can still hear me now. Just gonna feather through the surface of that nail, lightly removing the shine. Again, I'm using our medium sanding band and my speed is at about 5,000 RPMs. I'm gonna take my, let me scooch over just a little bit. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna use my manicure brush, dust off this nail, and take a little bit of swipe. Swipe is our cleanser. It's gonna help to pH balance the nail. It's gonna help to get all of that dust and germs and everything off of that nail. So give that nail a good dusting. Looks like we got a little fuzz on there. Okay, there we go. All right. Man, I'm wearing all kinds of different things, but the dark color I have on here is Hey Gang. And you guys, for those of you that were with us a few weeks ago when you were watching me fill my own nails, I still haven't filled them again. So I'm going on, I think, about 3 to 4 weeks with my fill here. So I definitely need a color change, but it is Hey Gang is that teal color that I've got on. All right, we're gonna put on our 2 coats of Protein Bond. Protein Bond is gonna give us that really good tacky layer to adhere our gel to. So if I was doing a full set, I would go through all of those nails and then come back doing a second coat of our Protein Bond, really making sure to cover that whole nail really well, okay? All right, let's see, licensed nail tech. I would love to see that fill. We actually, all of our YouTube videos here, you guys, all of these live streams, we do post on our YouTube channel. So make sure to go back and check them out. Make sure to like our channel, make sure to subscribe so that you always know when we are going live. So make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the good stuff. Okay, I've got my form here. And we're gonna get that right up underneath the nail. Okay, we're gonna get right up under there, and then I'm just gonna lightly lift up on the end so that form is flush up underneath that natural nail. Now I think a lot of you were saying almond shape today, so we'll go almond shape. So I'm gonna just pinch that form a little bit more at the end. That way I can get that really nice almond shape and kind of use that form as my guide already, okay? Let's start with, I'm going to start with my clear Sculptor. Those of you that have watched our videos before, you guys know I love to start my extensions using clear Sculptor. I really like the consistency of it. I feel like it's going to move a little bit, but it's not going to run too much for me. So I'm just going to start by squeezing a small amount right onto that form, right where my natural nail connects to that form. Okay, I'm not trying to overlap onto my natural nail, just connecting the two, and then I'm gonna just start to feather down the end of that nail. So down to whatever length I want that. Oh, maybe we'll make it a little bit longer here today. Not quite stiletto, but a little bit longer. And then, oh my goodness, you guys, I've got color on all of my tiles here that I usually will use to clean out my brush. So I'm going to just use the little corner of this tile here. So I'm making sure my brush is nice and clean and kind of back to its shape. And then I'm going to just start to gently connect, make sure everything is connected or smooth out any little bits of that gel that I feel like need to be smoothed out. And again, creating that almond shape. I'm going to clean out my brush. And I'm going to turn my brush and use the edge of my brush and then just kind of brush backwards right up that sidewall. So that way it's going to really help me to perfect and create that sidewall before I even get that into my curing light. Okay, so I want to make sure I get product all the way to my edges and then perfecting that shape. And I think we are good to go. Okay, so I'm going to get that into my curing light. Now you guys, I have to make sure I've got all of these different little trays here with color on them. I have to make sure that my light and my trays are not near each other. So I'm kind of repositioning some things here, making sure that all of those colors are away from my light so that I don't cure those colors onto those mixing tiles. Same thing with my brush. I want to make sure I'm keeping my brush away from that curing light because I don't want to have to buy a new brush. And if you cure that gel that's in your brush, there's no way that you're going to be able to clean that out. Okay, so I'm curing this layer for just a quick 30-second freeze, and then we'll go on to our next coat. Now the next one we're going to be using is our base gel. This is going to go over that natural nail area for sure, but then it's also going to kind of follow through onto our form here. Okay, let me open this up real quick. And again, I'm just going to clean out my brush a little bit. I'm just using the top of that jar. So I'm going to just kind of draw my brush right over the surface of that gel and pick up just a small pearl. I don't need a lot, maybe just a little bit more. Okay, let me come in here a little bit. And then this one, this is our foundation layer. So base gel is going to be our foundation. It doesn't need to be thick. So I'm putting some pressure onto my brush as I blend out that base gel, okay? We're not trying to build structure. All we're trying to do is give our nail kind of that base layer for everything else to grab onto. And then I like to take just a little bit more, kind of run it right around that connection so that I have a nice smooth connection. I don't have really that drop down between that natural nail and that extension. So I might take even just a little bit more, but then also this ensures that my natural nail is really well connected to that extension so that when I take my form off, I don't have to worry about breaking that extension off. And you'll see that in just a second here. Let me set that off to the side. Once again, we're going to do another 30-second freeze. We'll get that into our light. Okay, so you guys, what kind of colors do we want to work with today? We've got all of these colors that we mixed. What were some of the votes from earlier? I can't remember what you guys were saying. Were we saying some pinks? Were we saying, I don't remember. Tell me again, you guys, what color should I use today? What color do you want to see on our nail? Let's see. X Grace K, can you also put the base on first and then extend on the form? Yes, that's a great question. I personally, whoops, sorry guys. Didn't mean to make y'all dizzy here. I personally like to build out my extension first and then put the base over it so it really seals the natural nail to that extension. But if you prefer to, you can start with the base gel and then build your extension after that. It's totally fine either way. Either way is going to be just fine, okay? It's just a personal preference for me. All right, I'm going to take, okay, I saw purple, so I think we're going to go purple today. All right, I'm going to take and pinch together my forms here. So I'm going to pinch that so it pulls away from that gel. And I want to make sure that the gel is completely separated from my form before I remove the form. I want to make sure that I'm not going to break off that extension. So very gently remove that form. Okay, I'm seeing pinks and purples, lavender, moonlight. I'm not doing butterflies today. Maybe in another stream, but we're just working with some colored here today. And you guys, if you have any little edges hanging down, I'm just using a straight edge toenail cutter. It works really well for just clipping off any little edges that are hanging down. Maybe you weren't quite as perfect with your sidewall application as you were hoping. So I like to just use that, just makes things a little bit easier in the long run. Sorry guys, I'll get you back on camera here. There we go. All right, so I just clip off those anything that's really kind of hanging low there and be all good. Okay, so let's see. I heard purples, so we're gonna go with purple. Teal. All right, you guys are talking my language now. I love it. And I promise I didn't pay these people to say purple and teal. But they really are some of my favorite colors. So let's grab our little tile here. We got our colors. Let me get you in camera so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my brush here again, clean out some of that other clear gel, and let's take, let's take a little bit of that kind of lavendery color, and I'm just gonna, you guys, I'm not really any rhyme or reason with this. A lot of the design work that I do, let me scooch in a little bit there. A lot of the design work that I do is more abstract. I'm not, one to really do a lot of hand painting or very precise detail, because a lot of times, you guys, especially if I have coffee, I get a little shaky. My hands can shake a little bit. So for me to be doing straight lines and things like that, not my ideal situation. But if you like to do that, these paints are actually really great. Maybe at the end, maybe I'll do a little bit of a detail work for you guys. All right, because it's my favorite color, I'm gonna grab a little bit of Sonic. Take that out. Oh, let's just drop that right down in the middle here. I think Sonic and this lavendery color are gonna look really, really pretty together. So again, just kind of dabbing that really wherever I feel like it needs to go. And yes, the Bob Ross vibes are gonna come out. Alrighty, and I'm just gonna kind of blend that together a little bit maybe. I think I like that. Maybe just a little bit more of that right at the edge there. And again, kind of blending, tapping. And you guys, you can see I'm leaving some empty spaces without color, because you know what we're gonna use, you guys, we're gonna use glitter, because everybody uses glitter. We love glitter. So we're gonna leave some of those empty spaces there for glitter. And I think I just wanna add just a little bit of a highlight with some of that yellow. Now you guys remember that yellow and blue or yellow and teal, that's gonna give you kind of a greenish tone. So as I'm blending these two together, you're gonna start to see maybe even just a little bit more teal kind of a color. Oh yeah, I like how that kind of highlighted everything. All right, maybe just a little bit more of that yellow right back towards that cuticle area. Okay, that's looking really pretty. And again, you guys, be careful as you're working. You see how I'm kind of cleaning out some of that color out of my brush? I want to make sure I'm not getting too much of that yellow and that purple together, because again, that's going to give me more of that brown kind of a mix. And I don't want that brown with this design. But I think I am liking that just how it is. All right, let's get this back into the light. We'll set that into place. Again, remembering to move all of my gels away from the front of my light. And we'll get that in there, and just another 30-second freeze. Christy looks like rainbow sherbet. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. I haven't had rainbow sherbet in forever. Are you loving this design? Are you loving the colors? Are you gonna mix these colors? Let us know with some hearts. Let us know with some likes. Let us know with a subscribe. You guys, we love to be able to offer all of this education for you. So thank you all for being here. We love that you're here joining us and that you are getting lots of education here today and learning lots. So let's see here. Flip this back around. Now, I'm going to use glitter. And I think I'm going to grab, okay, so I've got a couple of different colors. I've got Empty Apartment. And apparently I'm using a lot of my favorites today, you guys. These are some of the colors that I just kind of tend to gear towards. So this one is Empty Apartment. And you can kind of see it does have a little bit of that bluish, purplish, pinkish kind of a glow to it. It looks a little bit more gold on camera, but there we go. That's a better view. Okay, so a little bit of a blue tint, a little purple tint. We're going to use some of that. And then let's see. All right, you guys, I'm going to use, this is one of my favorite colors. This is called Mood Ring, and I know this one, I'm pretty sure it's been discontinued, but a lot of people still have this one. So if you still have Mood Ring, we're going to use Mood Ring. Again, this has a little bit of that blue tint to it as well, but a little bit of that orange. Now, if you don't have Mood Ring, that's okay. I also grabbed Emotional Standstill. So this one is a really pretty one. It's a similar in color, just a little bit of a different tone, different cut. Okay, so yes, we always have to add sparkles. Now, when you are working with the Mission Control is a hard gel paint, so it does not have a tacky surface to it. So if I try to put my glitters onto this nail, it's not going to stick. So I always need to make sure, sorry guys, I'm trying to make sure I don't get gel into everything here. I always want to make sure that I give myself a sticky surface. So I'm going to come back with my base gel, and we're going to pick up a little bit of that. We're going to brush on a nice thin layer. I don't need to create, oh, you guys hang on, I had a little bit of my colors still in there. I'm actually going to pick up a little bit more of that base, and I'm going to just clean my brush out really quick. This is a good way of cleaning your brush out. Just grab a little bit of any clear gel and then just kind of start to draw your brush through that, and that's going to pull out any of that extra color. So now I can go back into my base with a nice clean brush. So we're going to just brush on a nice thin coat of this, not trying to build up any structure at this point, just giving myself something for my glitters to set down into. All right, so let's set that aside. Let me grab an art brush here. Okay, I'm just gonna grab my number 9. This is our ombre brush. Doesn't really matter what brush you use, whatever works for you. Just something that's got a couple of little bristles in there so you can pick up some of those little glitters. Let me come in so you guys can really see here. So I'm just picking up a few of those glitters, kind of tapping them wherever I feel like I want a little sparkle, a little highlight, just kind of setting those wherever I like them. And you guys, again, different glitters are going to glow differently, different shapes, different sizes, so you can work with whatever you like. And just kind of tapping those in there. I think maybe just a little bit more right up towards my cuticle area. And this is a little, I would say it's more of a medium-sized kind of a glitter. So it's not going to give us full coverage. It's just going to add sparkle. I'm going to just kind of spread those out just a little bit more. Okay, and I think I need a little bit more of those finer glitters. So this one, this was the Mood Ring, and then I'll grab Emotional Standstill. Emotional Standstill. Yep, so I'm going to grab those two and just kind of highlight wherever I want a little bit more sparkle. I do want to leave a little bit of those solid colors just solid. I'm not going to make a whole glitter nail this time. I'm going to take and just kind of shine up a few little areas. Okay, so again, just kind of filling in some of those spots with our glitter. Oh, maybe just a little bit of a hint right through there. And maybe right through there. Okay, what do you guys think? Are we good on glitter? Or do we need just a little bit more? Maybe we just need just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. And okay. Now I feel like I have a big empty space there. So I'm gonna just grab my brush here and just kind of move that glitter around. You guys, it's okay to move glitter, add glitter, take glitter away. I don't know why you'd want to take glitter away, but just make that design how you like it. You know, if you're not feeling it, change it, adjust it, okay? And you guys, speaking of changing and adjusting, I feel like I need just a couple of little pieces of Mylar. So let me see here real quick. Just gonna grab my container of Mylar here. I've got all of my different Mylars in a lovely tray. So I'm just gonna pick a few pieces right out of there. And we're just gonna kind of set those. Let me see. I think I'm just gonna take a few out of kind of my catch-all area. And I'm just gonna place those onto my towel here so I can just pick up just a couple little pieces and place them wherever I want. Sorry guys, I wanna make sure you're able to see here. So those Mylar pieces are really gonna give a whole different glow to this nail. Just a really good reflection. So I'm kind of just setting these right down into those areas where that solid color is. I know, I said I wasn't going to do a whole glitter nail, and look what happened. I mean, is it really that terrible, though? I guess more glitter is not such a bad thing, right? What do you guys think? More glitter, more confetti, more Mylar? Or are we good? Yeah, I think we're good. Crystal, bling it up, Karen. I love it. I love it. All right, we'll bling it up even more. A little bit more in there. Just setting that down. Okay. Please, rainbow. Okay. All right, you guys. You talked me into it. I'll add more bling. I mean, I've got a little bit more here on my table towel, so I might as well. All righty. So I feel like this is going to be just enough. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at that. Love it. Okay, let me close this up. I'm going to give this another quick freeze into the light. Again, this is going to be a quick 30-second freeze. Make sure that all of those little pieces of glitter get stuck down and set into the nail, and then we'll close up our jars here while that is curing. Licensed Nail Tech, the fine glitter. I have two fine glitters that I used. One is Mood Ring, and then the other is Emotional Standstill. And actually here, let me show you guys one more time. Hold on a second. Okay, so this one was Mood Ring. And again, you guys, I think this one may have been discontinued, but if you don't have this, a lot of you probably have it already, but if you don't have Mood Ring, then you can always go with Emotional Standstill. This one's fairly similar, just a slightly different cut to it, okay? And then the larger one that we have is Empty Apartment. So that one's just a little bit chunkier, more of a medium-sized glitter, I would say. Okay, so we've got our colors on there, we've got our glitter, we've got our Mylar. Let's finish up this nail and build the structure to it. Okay, so you guys, as we were working, you can see there's really not a whole lot of structure to this nail. It's just a very thin, let me come in a little bit, just a very thin shell. Okay, so now what we need to do is to build up the structure. So we've got an actual apex, we've got structure that's going to support this nail. So we're going to come in with my Build Pink. And again, this is the Precision Applicator tubes. It's used and abused a little bit, but I absolutely love using the using the Build Pink to build up my structure with my Emotional Standstill, with my encapsulated designs here. I think the Build Pink really gives a different kind of a tint, just kind of brightens up those glitters and those colors underneath. So I'm just going to squeeze out a little bit of that product around my cuticle, use the nozzle of that applicator to just kind of smooth that product, move it where you need to, and I'm really just floating on the surface. If I feel like I need more product, I'll squeeze out a little bit more and then float from side to side. Okay, by floating, it's going to help to keep the thickness of the product. I'm not pressing and smoothing like we would do with acrylic, so kind of keep that in mind. When you're working with gel, it tends to be a lighter touch when you're trying to build up thickness. Okay, so as I'm going, again, if I need more product, I'll squeeze out a little bit more, but then just kind of using that nozzle to move my product around. And you guys, these applicator tubes I think are fantastic for beginner nail techs because they really help you to kind of get that feel for moving the product. Whereas sometimes using the brush, if you're a little heavier handed, can be a little tricky. I do, like I'm showing you here, I do come back through and I use my brush to kind of clean up my edges, make sure that I have product everywhere that I need to, and then we're going to go back into our light. Okay, We're going to do another 30-second freeze. Again, another quick 30-second freeze. Grace is asking no slip layer first. With our product, this is a hard gel. We don't actually need that slip layer. That product is going to self-level. It's going to flow on its own. So I personally don't worry about using a slip layer. For something like this that we're using, it doesn't need it. It's not necessary. But great question. Great question. Let's see. No emotional damage. Emotional standstill? Yes. No emotional damage, though. All right, you guys. So again, that was a quick 30-second freeze. Now, the reason that I do that 30 seconds is because I know that if I take a look again from the side here, I can still see that I have a little bit of a low spot kind of right through here. So I know that I need to add a little bit more product. So I just did that quick 30-second freeze so I can come back in quickly, add a little bit more product right in that low area, build up the rest of my structure anywhere that I need to. And again, I can come back in with my brush just to kind of feather everything out. Now you can see I've got a little bit more of that structure that I need. And on this cure, this one, I'm gonna do a full 60 seconds, okay? So we'll come back in here, freeze, actually not freeze that into place. We're gonna cure that fully for that whole 60 seconds, okay? You guys, now is a good time while we're curing to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so that you can join us on our next round of live streams. And we can always do some more fun glitter mixing and color mixing and all of those kind of things. Question, let's see here. Are the fingers on the hand different sizes? They are, for the most part, they are the same size. On the pinky finger, it is just a little bit shorter, but the nails themselves are actually the same size. And we use our, let me pop these open here. So the replacements come in a pack of 100, and the replacements all come as the same size. Now, you can customize them, so you can clip off. I usually will clip off that little cuticle area. So I come in here, clip off that little cuticle area, or if you feel like you maybe want to work on a smaller nail, you can always use, whoops, hang on. You can always use your file to file it in on the side walls a little bit more to make it look more like a smaller nail. So you can always customize these, and you can always make them whatever it is that you want to practice, okay? So you could make it into a smaller nail than what they come, okay? All right, so our nail is cured out. Let's go ahead and file. Guys, I have got so much stuff here on my station, making a mess, but that's okay. It's all in the name of glitter and nails, and it's lovely. All right, so I'm gonna come in with a little bit of our swipe. Once our nail has fully cured, it does have that tacky surface on it, so I'm gonna use one of our lint-free wipes, a little bit of swipe on there. Make sure to cleanse that nail really well. Get all of that tacky surface off there, okay? Let me resituate here, get you guys a good view. And we're gonna switch to our, let's see, I'm gonna grab my X-Cut bit here today. So the X-Cut is a coarse carbide. It does have a flat top on it, so if you're a little bit on the newbie side, I would definitely recommend, if you're not quite comfortable with the E-file yet, I would recommend using the safety bit coarse. So these two are basically the same bit, same grit. It's just that the safety bit has that rounded top, whereas the X-Cut has that flat top. So if you're a newbie, you might feel a little bit more comfortable with that rounded top, okay? All right, we're gonna turn our speed. All right, you guys, I gotta move that out of the way. There we go, okay. Too much fun stuff here. So I'm gonna set that right in the center here. I'm gonna turn on my dust extractor. We're gonna turn my speed on my E-file to about, you go about 14,000 RPMs. Let's come in a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm gonna start by shaping my sidewalls. I'm just gonna take those just a little bit more narrow so that it's less filing for me to do at the end, okay? I'm just pulling down the length of that nail. And then you guys said almond, right? I think I went a little more stiletto. So I'm just gonna round this out, give it more of an almond shape, since you guys wanted almond, not stiletto. Okay, just rounding that out a little bit. And then I'm gonna push up on my right side. Okay, so again, just doing my preliminary shaping so that I don't have to do that with my hand file. Now I still will go back with my hand file to really perfect everything, but for now, just using that e-file so that I don't have as much hand filing to do. Okay, so we've got our preliminary shape. I can even turn this on the side, and I think we're pretty okay on that lower arch, but if I did have a whole lot hanging underneath there, I could still come back through and take that down if I needed to. Okay, now Kindles, yes, this video will definitely be up on our YouTube channel, so you can watch all of these live streams later if you need to. Okay, so from the side view, I'm looking from the side here, I'm kind of taking a look. I've got my cuticle areas nice and thin and tapered. I've got enough product right through my stress area there. I'm just going to take down a little bit of that bulk right through that free edge. Okay, so I don't have a ton of filing to do on this nail, but just a little bit of perfecting that arch, perfecting that shape. And I'm working down just the arch of the nail. I'm not trying to come all the way from side to side. You want to make sure that you can always see the bottom of your bit. So from here, I can see where the bottom of my bit is. If my bit comes over and I can't see where the bottom is, a lot of times what can happen is that bit can catch and it'll wrap around, okay? So make sure that when you're working from here, you're working from the top over and that you can always see the bottom of your bit. Okay, all right. I'm gonna come right around this cuticle area, just making sure everything is nice and tapered. And again, you guys, if you are more comfortable with that safety bit with that rounded top by that cuticle area, you can definitely use that as well, okay? Today I'm pretty comfortable with my X-cut, so that's why I was working around that cuticle, and it's all good. We're gonna look down the barrel, and I'm just gonna pull that bit towards myself, nice long movements, just coming through so that I'm evening out all of the rest of that C curve. Pulling through, pulling through, pulling through. And I'm looking straight down from this view so that I can kind of see I've got a little bit of a high point right through here. A little bit more right down there. So by looking from this view, you can see what that curve really looks like. And that anywhere you have those high points, you can adjust and get those, okay? All right, I think we are about good there. I'm gonna switch my bit now. And I'm going to switch back to that medium sanding band that we had in before. Same one that I was using for prepping my nails. This time I'm going to turn it down to about 7,000 RPMs. And we'll turn that on. And I like to use this one for right up around that cuticle area. Again, especially if you were using that safety bit. Sometimes you're not able to get right up into that cuticle area with the safety bit. And again, for those newbies, this is going to come in handy. So you can use that sanding band and get right up into that cuticle area so everything is going to be nice and flush to the cuticle. And then I like to come through and just go through all of those same movements one more time, just to make sure everything is nice and tapered, nice and flush where it needs to be. And just that, this sanding band really helps to just kind of customize everything, really just taper everything. And again, it's one less little thing that I have to do with my hand file, okay? So I always go through with this bit as well. Just helps to refine just a little bit more. All right, we'll make that a little bit more oval. I feel like I'm a little bit lopsided here, but again, that's all right. We'll fix it. Fix it in our filing. There we go. I think we're doing better there. All right, last thing we're gonna do is come through with our hand file. I'm going to start and line up that file straight along my sidewalls. Make sure that you're putting pressure with the file, but then also using pressure with your opposite hand. Here, let me come out just a little bit. So as I put pressure on my right side, I'm putting opposite pressure with my thumb here to make sure that everything stays nice and straight. If I only put pressure here, that nail's gonna wobble a little bit and I'm never gonna get a perfectly straight line on the side here. So making sure you always put opposite pressure from whatever side you're working on. Same thing on my other side. I'm put pressure on my right side when I'm filing on my left side. Same thing, and we're just gonna come in, kind of make that a little bit more almond shape. Now when I'm working on my free edge, on my shape, I'll hold from both of these sides, okay? So using my thumb and my middle finger or thumb and pointer finger, that way, again, it's gonna keep that finger from wobbling back and forth, okay? MJ, I'm glad that you're relaxing with us today. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad that you're having a chance to relax, but then also learn something. All right, so we've got our preliminary shaping outside there. We're gonna turn onto the side. I'm gonna catch any of those last little bits that are hanging down the edge, keeping that file straight in line with the finger, you guys, okay? Making sure that that file's straight with the finger. I'm not angling up here. I'm not coming in from here. Straight in line with that finger. And you'll still notice I put pressure on that top of the nail to balance that out, just like I was doing here, okay? So opposite pressure. Wherever you're filing, you're always gonna put opposite pressure. Okay, same thing, keeping that file straight in line with that finger, cleaning up my lower arch. All right, I think we are good there. Come in just a little bit. I'm gonna come up around that cuticle and then just kind of contouring. So let me come back out. So what I'm doing, you guys, I'm not filing with my file flat. I'm kind of rounding because now we wanna make sure that our sides get nice and contoured, and it's gonna be nice and, sorry, you guys can't see that really well. It's gonna be nice and round. I don't want it flat or square on those sides. So let's come back in again. And just kind of rounding those sides, coming up or pushing down, but again, rounding those sides. Same thing on the other side. I'm kind of pulling down or pushing up, pull down, push up, pull down. Either way, whatever works for you, just as long as you're rounding out those sides, okay? I think we've got all of our areas rounded out that we need to. Just gonna quick check from down the barrel of the nail, and then I'm gonna turn my client's hand around. And we're gonna look from the client's perspective. Okay, let me adjust my camera here a little bit so you guys can see a little better. So I'm gonna take a look from the client's perspective, and I wanna make sure that I am fixing my shape. If there's anything that was lopsided, clean that up, perfect that almond shape. And maybe we'll round that out since it's more of an almond rather than stiletto. I just didn't want that point on there. Not a big deal. Okay, and then I'm gonna look backwards down the barrel of this nail. And then I'm gonna check, make sure any little lumps or bumps from this direction, I'm gonna clean those up as well. Alrighty, I think we are just about good there. And you guys, this is always the last view that I look at my client's nail because that's how she's gonna be looking at her nails. She's gonna look at her hand from here, okay? So make sure that you're always checking, make sure that everything is even, make sure from one nail to the next that everything is even and the same shape, same length, okay? Or appropriate lengths, all right? So again, just checking there, and I think we are good. So let's come back around. I'm gonna dust this nail off. This is a practice hand. These aren't actual real fingers. I know somebody was asking in the chat there. These are a practice hand, okay? All right, so I'm gonna dust that nail off. Now I have a couple of tiny little spots that I've got a couple of pieces of glitter kind of poking out. I'm just gonna grab a brand new 180 grit buffer and just catch a couple of those areas. I'm not gonna waste time going through and buffing that whole entire nail. I don't need to. Just get any of those areas that maybe that glitter might have poked out a little bit, okay? And you guys, you wanna make sure that you're not buffing it too smooth, because if you make it too smooth, then you might have issues with your top coat adhering, okay? So don't sit there and buff and waste a lot of time doing that. just dust that nail off. Use a little bit of the swipe to cleanse that nail. And let's see here. I'm gonna grab my protein bond. Oh, Angelica is asking, can you show again what you mean by holding the file aligned with the finger? So making sure on your sidewalls that you're keeping that file straight in line with the finger. All you're gonna see is that blue line down the center. And then when you're working on the sidewall, let me come from back up here. Okay, your file should be sitting straight in line with the finger this way, okay? I'm not angling here. I'm not trying to cut into those corners, and I'm not coming from down here, okay? So you see how it's angled here, or it's angled here? I want to keep that file straight in line with the finger, okay? I hope that makes sense. Hopefully that helps to clarify. But you guys, as I was doing that, I did notice there's a tiny little spot over here. You can kind of see that I filed a little bit of that color off. Not to worry, I'll show you how to fix it. You guys, I don't like when this kind of stuff happens, but I think it's important to point these things out for you guys to see because it's gonna happen. You know, you may file a little bit too much and it's okay as long as you know how to fix it. So I'm gonna take my protein bond. We're gonna do a coat of protein bond on the whole nail. And then, oh my gosh, you guys, it's looking gorgeous already. I can't wait till it's finished. But let's do our little touch up here. Okay, so I'm gonna take my brush and make sure this is nice and clean. Let's see, what color is that? That was kind of our teal. Looks like I have a little bit of teal still left on my mixing spatula, so I'm gonna take just a tiny, tiny little bit of that. I don't need much, but just enough to just kind of touch up that little area right in there. And I'm gonna clean out that from my brush, and then I'll use that clean brush and just kind of tap along the edges of it so it kind of blends in. So it's not that really stark line, but I can tell that I've filled in that space. Okay, actually, you know what? I think a liner brush at this point might be a little bit easier. So I'm gonna just grab that liner brush, and then we can get that right around that side, as close up to our sidewall and cuticle as we can without touching the skin, okay? So again, you guys, it's okay if these kind of things happen. Nobody is perfect every day. I'll tell you, I'm not perfect every day. I wish I was, but I'm not. It's okay. As long as you know how to fix these kind of things, as long as you know how to make them look like it never happened, that's what we're concerned with, okay? So I think I'm gonna blend that out just a tiny little bit more. Okay, and then I'm gonna put this in just for a really quick 10 seconds into the light, okay? That way it's gonna set that little bit of color into place, and it's gonna give me just a second here to grab my top coat. And let's see here. So I've got my ultimate finish. Oops, I'm knocking things over here. So I got my ultimate finish top coat, and we'll go ahead and use that to seal the nail. Now you guys, this is where I love it. I absolutely love it because you get to see all of that glitter, all of that mylar, all of that different color. Those custom colors that we mixed are gonna really pop out here. So we'll give that a quick top coat. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at that. And I think it was a good idea. Those who said to add mylar, I think we made a good choice on that. So adding that little bit of extra mylar just gives that nail that extra pop. Okay, we'll go ahead and get that into the light. So normally with your ultimate finish, you're gonna do a 60-second cure all the way through. I'm just gonna do a quick 30-second one so that you guys can see the finished nail. And I will show you that in just a second here. So you guys, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you guys being here with us. If you had fun today, if you learned something today, make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you can always join us next time when we are doing our lives. We are not gonna pop out eyes with this nail, I promise you. My nails, I wear them this long all the time, and very rarely do I have an issue. Every now and then I will admit, but all right, let's take a look here. Show you guys that final look. with those really beautiful colors that we blended together. Let me come in a little, whoops, come in a little closer for you. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love this nail. I feel like it's so springy and so bright, but a little bit soft, not too crazy. So, all right, you guys, hope everybody has a wonderful day today. Join us the rest of the week. We usually go live right about the same time, Monday through Friday, so make sure to join us again. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. We'll talk to you later.